Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting. Just running you through my new admin today and just looking at a couple of core aspects that I really think will improve your business. So the first one is the dashboard, which is the analytical side of the software. And it shows you everything from your conversion rate to how your leads and opportunities, how they sit in your pipeline, where they sit, what's your average close rate, conversion rate, what's the value of lost deals, so you can look at implementing strategies of going back over lost deals to sort of mine them for any additional value that could be found in there. And it shows you your distribution. So where currently are all your leads distributed? And then basically on your funnel, it just shows you the different stages and how they work and how they operate. So basically, that's a cool aspect that you can jump into, where it will give you a better understanding with the more data you put into it, the better the understanding that you'll get. And what you can do is you can set this up to be either looking over you as an individual. If it's just you in the business, you can just have an overview for the business. But if you've got a larger team or anything like that, what you can do is you can actually have your different team members in there. So you can see individual performers and start to identify trends in maybe behaviors or patterns that certain staff are using, and identify what are they doing good, what are they doing bad, and how do you then distribute that through information through to your team to help them improve, so that you can continuously be fine-tuning that team to really pump out the sales. And that's one awesome thing about analytics, is analytics gives you the data that you need to identify trends, to see where are we at and what's getting us to where we're needing to go, and how do we do more of what's effective. So with trends, you're able to see what's working, what's not working, in terms of if you have a negative trend of negative performance, you can then identify what are the variables that are creating that negative performance, and how do we get them out of either the people or get them out of the business. So, and on the positive side, you can really start to see trends develop, but also you can watch the development of staff to really understand and map how they learn. This is what analytics does, because it shows you everything. So it'll show you all your calls and things like that, your tasks you're doing. So one key thing with especially running sales teams is how do you effectively manage those people to understand, are they putting in their best effort, and where do they need help? Because you don't want to be, coming in and giving help to someone and then them taking it as, well, you're just picking on me because you don't like me and all of that. So it just allows you to have better conversations with your staff as well. And then we'll jump over to the opportunities tab. So the opportunities tab is your pipeline view. So this shows you your different pipelines, and it also will show you the stages in your pipeline. So just jumping on to that, with sales pipelines, there's many different ways to set them up. I've seen them set up multiple ways. The way I prefer to do it is to try and make it as natural and seamless, like the sales cycle. So you sort of want your pipeline to represent the stages of the sales cycle. So, for example, in my first sales cycle stage, I'm looking at booking out Zoom meetings. And from those Zoom meetings, they are the sales presentation, and they are where I can really connect and get in with my potential clients to really build a relationship. So the first stage of the sale is about building the relationship. And then when we jump into the second stage of the sale, which is the sign-up stage, this is set different because it's more about now converting on that interest and converting on that relationship to get a new client, to win new business. So what you're able to do is you're able to set up your pipeline to not just be one pipeline for the wholesale, but to be broken up into the different stages so that you can segment your time to having a certain area of time for prospecting, having a certain area of time for callbacks. And what you're able to do when we get into the more advanced side of this is you're able to now look at when do you perform better, what are the bigger dollar producing hours of your day, and how do you really focus on having yourself performing at 120, 130, 180% in those hours, and then outside those hours, you're more relaxed and things like that. The other thing is in understanding and mapping your sort of like, not sleeping behaviors, but how does your energy disperse throughout the day? Are you someone who is pumped in the morning and you've got your energy until about 1, 2 o'clock in the arvo, and then it's sort of you sort of shut down and start relaxing? Or are you just someone that basically, if you've got to do calls at 5 p.m., that's when you're on fire. You work all day and then you're on fire then. So just understanding that about yourself and your team and your industry specifics, many different products. And, if you go on B2C, which is business to consumer, you're looking at outside work hours are going to be your most effective because you're going to have a higher connection rate. But also with that, you do have some other times. So before work, lunch breaks, and things like that, weekends. Whereas B2B, you're looking more of like what are the most effective times, and what is my potential client doing. So if we're selling to corporate, we probably don't want to be doing calls in the mornings because people are basically getting to work, preparing for meetings, running meetings, executing on those meetings, and then they're sort of winding down. So if we're trying to contact them in the mornings, that's not going to be effective if it's between, 10 or 12. But if we're looking at different forms of businesses, so not so much a corporate business, but a small business, so let's say 1 to 50 employees, more than likely, from what data says is around between 9 to about 11 is quite the sweet spot in terms of that's when people are sort of getting prepared for the morning. So they're sort of willing to answer the phone. They're not so busy yet. And then usually, the lunchtime period is a bit busy. And then outside of that, so yeah, when you understand exactly what's happening in your consumer's life, you can structure and set up your pipeline to reflect the most effective sale. And then the second aspect of the pipeline is your automation. So this is your automated workflows. So what you can do for this is you can automate out tasks so that when certain leads hit certain stages, there are certain tasks associated with those leads that the lead owner has to do. And then you've got other things where you can automate out messages. So one of the cool things about automating out messages in terms of being able to customize and make it not a generic message, but make it quite easy to make it unique and custom to the individual. So what we're able to do in that is I'll go through one of these emails and just show you some of the coding. So unlike other CRM platforms that I've ever used, I've never seen automated workflows in the sense where you can now put in custom values, which are computer coding. So this tells the program what to do. So for example, hi, contact.first name underscore first underscore name. So that'll all go out, and whatever the first name of this contact is what is going to be put there. And then we can put in appointment title, appointment start time, appointment location, so Zoom, And then we've got the ways that you can add it into your own calendar. And then we've got ways that you can reschedule so that we're not having people not show up if they have to change last minute. It's easy for them to reschedule on their own. And then if they want to cancel, so we want to make it as easy as possible for people to cancel. That way, we're not dragging people through the sales process, and we're not wasting time on people who aren't buyers. We don't want to waste time on them because that's wasted resources for you. And it's not a fun place to be. So in sales, we want to make it as easy as possible for someone to drop off, because we want to have committed people doing business with us, because you don't want to be there convincing people constantly of why there's value. Because what happens is after they purchase, then buyer's remorse will start to sit in. And that's just how it can downgrade and degrade down to quite a negative relationship where you're getting negative reviews and things like that, or they're telling people about their negative experience with your business. There's more than enough buyers in any industry. You don't need business. Like, there's more than enough business out there. It's about how do you get in front of the right business, especially when you want to convert at high levels and you want to have a highly nimble and highly effective business, to where you're not having to spend, exorbitant amounts on marketing and bringing in new business because you're losing business and you've got quite a high turnover of business. If you're in a single sale, or maybe you sell a couple of products and it's sort of one-time buys, by all means, that's a completely different model. That's a direct sales model. That is just purely where we're looking for clients to sell once to, and then it's about working out how do we get the maximum profits in terms of how can we acquire those leads for the lowest price, and how can we do as much for free as we can to get those leads. So yeah, definitely. Other really cool things with your workflows is you're able to put in the different tasks that you have to do to that lead so that you can easily identify and track it. So one thing is the lead will go into the Zoom meeting booked. So the way that can happen is through the customer booking through the calendar link, or through the pipeline stage changing. So me manually putting someone in here. Now, it'll have a 2-minute wait and then assigned to the user. So whoever the user was for the lead in the previous stage will just follow through onto it. And then basically a booked meeting tag will be on there, so that if I'm trying to identify who have I got meetings with, I can just look in the search function and I can just add in book Zoom, and it'll bring me up every lead that's booked in for a Zoom meeting. After that happens, and what we want to do is we want to have these waits in between, because it just helps break it up so that the software is doing 1-2 tasks and then waiting, doing another task, then waiting, then doing another task. Because if we have it all happen at once, it can jumble things up. So everything will be trying to happen simultaneously, and it just causes chaos. So what we want to do is we want to segregate the different tasks that we want the system to do for us. And what it can do is also, it can be set up so that it gives the feeling of someone actually doing the work and not just automated processes. So that's another way in understanding and really manipulating, not in a bad way, but really curating the experience that you can curate in these response times and things like that. And then the other thing you can do is you can have it automatically move over from one stage to the other. And what that allows it to do is you manually move your lead through, and then it hits the book Zoom stage in the first one, and then it automatically sends over to the next stage, which is the next pipeline for your sales process. You know what I mean? And it keeps going over until it gets into your final nurture or your closed one pipeline. So definitely, like these are some cool aspects that I personally haven't seen to this level in any other CRM program that I've used, to where it's as easy as possible to do. So in many other companies I've worked for, it takes multiple months of trying to understand and not knowing what's going wrong, which is very frustrating. But also, a lot of the other large CRM companies are American, so trying to get on with customer service and things like that, I just personally have known that it wasn't a good time. That's one awesome thing about My New Admin is I'll show you how cool they've done it with all of the learning and all of the like help. So there's sort of like 3 prongs to their helpline. So the first one is I don't understand something, so I'll go on the question mark up in the top right, and it's going to bring up a help library where I can search from blogs, articles, and all of that. If that doesn't like help me out, and I want to go and I want to actually get rid of that, and I want to go and I want to actually jump up. I can jump up here. Well, then you'll see logging onto your system. So it just tells you a bit about what's going on in the stage. Oh. So if we look, it'll just run through the different areas of the, I guess, whatever's on the screen in front of you, and just run through just the different areas and just do a little bit of an explainer. And another cool thing about it is they'll have on there a short 3-minute video on all of the different blogs that they've got going on. So if we jump down into, let's say, a general article and list of custom values. So we'll have that there that we can go through. Did this help? If there was a specific custom value you were looking for and it wasn't there, you just jump on, and now we can either start a chat or create a ticket. Now, what creating a ticket does is that might be you've got an issue that you want resolved, and you're creating a work order for them to look into it and to do it. Otherwise, name, email, question, and you can start a live chat. They've got 24-hour chat support. So any time of the day, any time of the night, they're there to help you. If there's nothing, if the problem persists and they cannot answer it in the first chat level, what they'll actually do is they'll go on at the end of that chat and they will create a ticket for you and have the coders come and look into it, or the developers look into it. Because sometimes the tech support guys can't do the complex coding, or there might be a coding issue or something like that. So yeah, so that's a really cool aspect that other companies have, but with the way that My New Admin have gone about it, it's about making it as easy as possible for you to understand and utilize the software. All right, well, that's all from me. If you want to know more, just jump on the link in this post and head through to the website and have a look at it. All right, see you, mate. Bye.